Welcome everybody. Today what we're going to be looking at is graphing from linear standard form. That's right, people. Standard form. Not slope-intercept form, not y equals mx plus b, but this special form known as standard form. So if you would please put ax plus by equals c. All right? Now we're going to put the equation they've given us, which is 12x minus 9y equals 36. Now, in order to do what we're about to do, you have to be able to identify three coefficients. You need to know what A is, what B is, and what C is. Could anybody in my class that's currently live right now tell me what A is? You got it. 12 is right. Now be careful now. What's B? -9. Very good. What? Why is it negative? Because you got to pay attention to the negative sign that's in front of that 9. And C is? Boom, that's it. Now, what we're going to do here is all we got to do is just graph this guy. All right, so these tools will be able to move around. All right, that dot will be able to move, that dot will be able to move. But basically, all I'm going to do is I'm going to find what's known as the X-intercept. I'm going to put X-intercept. I'll even spell the whole word, even though it's not very good handwriting. But we also need to find the Y-intercept. And there's a very easy way in standard form. All right, there's a formula way, and then I'll just show you kind of what I do in my head. All right, so here's the formula way. The x-intercept will always be the c value divided by the a value. So that's what it's always going to be, c over a. The y-intercept will always be the c value divided by the b value. So let's test this out. Ready? What is our c value? It's 36. And what's our a value? 12. Now, fortunately, 36 is totally divisible by 12. It's equal to 3. So that's our x-intercept. Now, as an ordered pair, you have to know that in x-intercept, the y value is always going to be equal to 0. So my ordered pair for the x-intercept is going to be at 3, 0. Now, the y-intercept is c divided by b. So we take c, which is still 36, we divide it by -9, and that gets us a -4, but you have to know how to plot the ordered pair 0, -4. This is the formula way. So in your journal, remember the x-intercept is always c over a, and the y-intercept is always c over b. If you can remember those two things, these problems will be very, very, very easy. All right? Now, what do I do when I'm doing it in my head? Here's what I do. I make a big old, like I cover things up. Ready? I cover this up. What do you guys see right there? 12x equals 36. And I divide both sides by 12 and I get x equals 3. And then if I want to solve for the y-intercept, I cover up all the x's and I divide both sides by -9. And 36 divided by -9 is -4. All right? All right, here we go. So what we're going to do is we take 3, 0, and we put it right there. And what was the other one, everybody? 0 what? 0, -4, so I got to put it right there. And then I go, check. See how easy that is? It's awesome. All right, let's do one more, and then we're going to move on to our next section. All right, we'll do one more. So once again, would you please with me? This is the process. You're like, I need to know the process. Here's what you always do. You write ax plus by equals c, and then you put your equation directly underneath it. All right? Then you identify a, b, and c. What is our a value? -9. What's our b value? And our c value is? And you identify those. So you identify A, B, and C. Then I'm not going to write the whole word intercept. I'm just going to put X, I, and T. And then I'm going to put Y, I, N, T, short for intercept. Now, besides you, young sir, does anybody know the formula for the X-intercept besides the person I'm looking at? Because they keep giving me the right answer. Yes, sir. C over A is correct. All right, how about the y-intercept? correct? All right, let's do it, guys. Let's do it. What is our C value for both of these? What's our C value? 45. So I got a 45 here. Got a 45 here. All right. So I got 45, but now I got to divide this by my A value. And my A value is -9. So I got to put -9 here. My B value is 5. And so now I just got to do a little math. 45 divided by -9 is -5. And 45 divided by 5 is 9. Now, if this is our x-intercept, right? If this is our x-intercept, we have to put the -5 where the x's go. And if this is our y-intercept, right? If that's our y-intercept, we got to put the 9 where the y's go. So remember, your x-intercept, your y value will always be 0. Your y-intercept, your x value will always be 0. So now I got to plot these. I got to plot one right there. I got to plot one right up there. Okay? So I got to plot one here and plot one here. And that's what I'm going to do. So, quick review. What do we do? Write down standard form. All right, write down your equation, identify A, B, and C, and then do what formulas? C over A and C over B. And that's what you do every single time when you're just trying to find the what? X-intercept and the y-intercept. So that's it. So -5, 0, right? -5, 0, and 0, 9. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this video. I'm going to let all my students get hundreds, which should only take about 5 minutes by doing 4 questions. All right, and then I'm going to come back and we'll do the next section. All right, so the next thing we're going to be talking about is this thing called slope from equation. All right, slope from equation. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to title this in your journal, how do we get the slope from an equation? And then what I'd like you to do is rewrite this nice and neat in your journal. 4x minus 1 equals 3y plus 5. Now I'm going to show you guys right now the easiest way to find the slope from each of these examples. I'm going to do 4 problems on this video, okay? I'm not saying you're going to get these exact 4 problems, but it's very, very, very easy. Now, when I think slope from equation, automatically my mind thinks of slope-intercept form, okay? Slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. What does the m value represent? It represents the slope. So literally, all I'm looking for is when I have one y and it's equal to an x, what number is in front of the x? Well, do I have one y right here? I don't, do I? So what would I have to do to get rid of this 3 in front of the y? I would have to divide this side by a 3, and then I have to divide this side by a 3. Now, what would happen to these 3's? They would cancel each other out. But what am I left with right, not the whole thing, but right there? What am I left with? Yeah, 4 thirds x. Now, I'm not changing my equation. I'm not changing it to slope-intercept form. I'm only doing one thing, finding what? The slope, that's it. So what would my slope be in this equation? It would be just 4 thirds. Just 4 thirds, not 4 thirds x. Just the number that's in front of the x when your y value is not a 4, not a 3, but when the y value is a 1. Okay? Now, understand that's all you got to do. You don't have to solve for y. Now, what would solving for y look like? Let me explain to you guys what solving for y. So, because some teachers would have you guys solve for the whole thing and change it to slope-intercept form. Now, if I was to do that, here's what I would have to do. I would have to take away 5 from both sides. Then that would give me 4x minus 6 equals 3y. Then I would divide everything by a 3. And I would get y equals 4 thirds x, and -6 divided by 3 is -2. Now, this would be my answer if I wanted the slope and the what? The y-intercept, but it doesn't ask me for the y-intercept, so I don't have to solve the whole equation. So trust me, if you don't get what I just did, we're going to do another one. Hopefully you see. All I'm looking for is what? The slope. That's all I'm looking for. All right, so I'll do another one real quick. You guys ready? This is in standard form, right? 2x minus 5y equals 9. This is in standard form. This is ax plus by equals c. ax plus by equals c. Now, in standard form, the slope is always the negative a value over the b value. So if you see it in standard form, what do I want you to do? Negative a over b. But we still have to be able to identify what is a, and what is b, and what is c. What is our a value? No, just 2. What is our b value? Negative 5. And what's our c value? 9. So I'm going to pause the video to give my students a chance to catch up. I want them to write this. I want them to write this. This is huge. And I want you to write A, B, and C. All right, here we go. Slope, M, equals negative. I'm going to open up the parentheses. Open up parentheses. What am I going to put right here? I'm putting my A value. What's my A value? 2. And what's my B value? Negative 5. Now this becomes negative 2 over negative 5, but a negative divided by a negative equals a positive. So I'm looking for the answer of positive 2/5, which is going to be answer choice A for me. All right. Now I realize that's done with that section, but I'm going to do 2 more. All right. So I'm going to go over here real quick. I'm going to go slope from equation, and we'll see what pops up. Okay. It's loading. Here we go. Now, all right. Next one I want you guys to write is this. Y minus 3 equals 5, parentheses, x minus 2. Everybody, this is point slope form. This is what we talked about yesterday. This is point slope form. So write y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus, sorry, it's supposed to be x1, not minus 1, minus x1. So all I want you to do in your journal is I want you to write this exactly as it appears. All right, so in this equation, y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1, what represents the slope? What do you think? The m. You're right. The m represents the slope. But look right here. In our equation, what number represents the m in our equation? 5. So automatically, what should you say the slope is? 5. That's how easy it is. You got to be able to identify the slope in any equation. And our slope is 5. How many y's do you see there right there, guys? 1. 1 y ends up equaling a 5. Okay, so that means that helps us with our slope. All right. Now this one is a little bit trickier, okay? This one's a little bit trickier. This is one that's really not in any form, okay? You have 5 parentheses y plus 2 equals 4 parentheses x minus 3. This is going to be when I said there's going to be a hard one, this is going to be the quote hard one, but it's really not that bad. Write this down. This is not in slope-intercept form. This is not in standard form. This is not in point slope form. This is just a random equation. Okay? All I want you to do when you see this problem is simply just focus on the number that's in front of the y. If I do 5 times y, what does that give us? 5y. If I do 4 times x, what does that give us? 4x. Now, here's what I'm telling you you don't have to do. Normally, I would always tell you, please distribute to both. But technically, you don't have to do 5 times 2, which is 10. And you don't have to do 4 times negative 3, which is negative 12. All you really need to focus on is this part and this part. Can everybody just focus on this and this? So just focus on just 5y being equal to a 4x. When you solve for y, eventually, when you end up solving for y in this equation, what would you have to divide both sides by? That's it. You'd have to divide both sides by a 5 so that these cancel out. And what are you left with? 4 over 5. That's why this answer is 4 over 5. So you could literally look right here and see what, ooh, that's going to be a what? That's going to be a 5y. That's going to be a 4. When I multiply, that'll be a 4x. What would I divide both sides by? A 5, and you still get 4/5. What form is this in, guys? What form is this in? Correct. AX plus BY equals C. What was the formula that I just told everybody to use for standard form? Negative A over B. But what do we have to be able to identify? We have to know what A is, and we have to know what B is. I'm just going to put A, B, C, just to get used to it. What is our A value? What's our A value, everybody? 8. What's our B value? All right. What's our C value? Boom. Now listen, you don't have to know the C value for this. The C values helps you with your y-intercept and your x-intercept. So all I want you to do is do this. M equals negative, open parentheses, over, open parentheses. What am I plugging in here? I'm plugging in the A. What am I plugging down here? The B. What is our A value? It's in 8. What's our B value? Negative 6. Does everybody see this negative is multiplied to the 8, and this is negative 6. A negative divided by negative is a positive, but this reduces. I can take half of 8 and put a 4, and half of a 6 is a 3. Now, if you don't know how to reduce fractions, it's okay. You just go to your calculator, all right, and you simply reduce it. So how could you reduce a fraction? You could even go to Desmos and do what? 8 divided by 6 and hit the fraction. What does it do? 4 over 3. All right? That's what I want you guys to do right now. Okay? By the way, this is in point slope form. What's the slope, guys? This is in point slope form. Negative 2. Right there. That's point slope form. When you say y equals that negative 2 in front of the x, that's what it's going to be. Go ahead and work on this section. Get it done. If you get it done, help somebody else. Work on their problem. Check your abilities, okay? All right, so I have a student who has a question. This is their problem. They're going to tell me the problem. I'm going to write it down. Go ahead. Tell me your problem. 3 parentheses, y minus 1, close parentheses, equals 2. Is it 2 parentheses or just 2x plus 2? 2x plus 2. Okay, so he's trying to find the slope. Now listen, what is he eventually going to have to do here? He's got to multiply what? The 3 times the y and the 3 times the negative 1. So that's 3y minus 3 equals 2x plus 2. But when you're trying to find the slope and you have an equation, y equals mx plus b, literally all you got to worry about is the m value. So you're just worried about what is the y value. You're just focusing on that part. So you're focusing on this and this. So strip everything else away. Strip everything else away. Just focus on the 3y equal to the 2x. Then what would we divide both sides by? We would divide both sides by 3. Those cancel out. And what are you left with in front of the x? A 2/3. That's why your answer is 2/3. Okay? All right, here's another problem. Go ahead, tell me your problem. Y minus 4 equals negative 7, x minus 6. Now, this is in point slope form, everybody. This is in point slope form. And in point slope form, the slope is this number right there. It's not a very good highlighter. I'll change highlighters. Here, how about this one? So what's the slope equal to? That's it. That's your answer. Your slope is equal to Negative 7. This. All right. Next problem. Go ahead. Oh, this is a good one. Okay, so listen, we got to get all the x's on one side and all the y's on the other side. So this one's a little bit. Is that what it says right there? Did I get it right? Is that correct? Okay. So listen, how do we move x's and how do we move y's? How do I get rid of negative 3x and get it to 0? I have to do what? I have to add 3x to this side. I have to add 3x to this side. Okay? So now how many x's do I have? A total of 5. How do I get rid of 3 y's? Well, I have to subtract those from both sides. And what happens here, I'm left with 2y. So let's think about what we have here. We've got what? 2y equals 5x. So you have to divide both sides by 2. Those cancel out. What are you left with? Y equals 5 over 2x. This is your slope. So your slope is 5 over 2. All right? So if you're not sure how I do these problems, you can rewind them, go back and check them again.